In the golden stillness of the desert where the dunes move like tides of an unseen sea, there lived a voice that was not merely a man's, but the echo of a people, the dream of a city, the pulse of a kingdom. He was known as Fazza, yet his name carried more than syllables. It carried the fragrance of falcons circling in the sky, the roar of stallions racing across the sand, the gentle whispers of waves touching the shores of Jumeirah at dawn. He was a prince, yes, but above all he was a poet whose ink was made of longing, whose paper was the horizon, whose words were woven with the wind. He walked among towers that kissed the sky, yet his heart rested among the dunes where his ancestors sang. Every word he wrote was a bridge between past and present, between the quiet simplicity of the Bedouin tent and the dazzling brilliance of Dubai's skyline. He was a writer, a dreamer, a falconer, a lover of silence, and a believer in eternity. His poetry did not remain confined in books. It lived in the beating heart of his people. It drifted across the desert like the fragrance of burning oud, lingering in memory long after the flame had gone out. When the sun fell, painting the sky in shades of amber and crimson, Fazza would gaze at the horizon as though speaking to a hidden beloved. His poems were letters to the unseen, messages to the stars, vows to the desert that had raised him. He would say that love was not only for a person but for a land, for a heritage, for the loyalty that binds a man to his tribe, to his people, to his home. His heart was vast, and within it danced countless stories, some of falcons that soared higher than the eye could follow, some of horses whose hooves struck sparks in the night, some of faces he remembered only in dreams. Love, to Fazza, was an endless horizon. It was the flame that could not be extinguished, the breath that remained even in silence. He wrote of longing not as a wound but as a gift, for longing was the proof of being alive. He wrote of patience, of devotion, of waiting for the beloved not in despair but with dignity. For love was not possession but sacrifice, not chains but wings. He wrote of the soul that remembers even when the mind forgets, of the heart that recognizes even when the eyes cannot see. His verses wandered into the night where the stars listened in silence. They carried the perfume of jasmine, the salt of the sea, the smoke of incense rising in majlis gatherings where elders spoke of honor and youth sang of passion. His words were rivers that never dried, flowing through the hearts of all who heard them, refreshing their spirits, reminding them of truths they had forgotten. He spoke of friendship, of loyalty that endures like the desert mountain, of bonds that are not broken by distance or time. Under the vast and endless sky where the desert keeps its secrets in golden folds of silence, there rises a voice woven with grace, a voice that belongs to the prince poet whose heart is an ocean of untold dreams. His name is Hamdan, yet the world calls him Fazza, the falcon of poetry, the rider of destiny, the son of the dunes and the guardian of stars. His words flow like rivers through barren lands, turning them green with longing, painting them with stories of love, loyalty, and eternal search. To hear him is to listen to the desert itself speaking, to feel the wind carry the whispers of generations, to touch the very soul of Arabia wrapped in light. He rides beneath the fading sun where shadows stretch long like ancient memories, his stallion galloping over sands that remember every step of his ancestors. The reins in his hands are not just leather but threads of tradition binding him to his people, and as hooves strike the earth, the sound echoes like drums of fate. Around him the desert bows, the falcons circle in recognition, and the sky bends to bless the poet who walks with honor. For Fazza is not just a prince of palaces but a prince of hearts, whose kingdom is not built of marble alone but of the verses he has given to those who seek shelter in words. When twilight falls, he does not hide in royal chambers. He walks among the whispers of stars. The campfires of Bedouins still burn in his memory, and he carries the fragrance of oud and the sound of old songs wherever he goes. In his verses he weaves the cry of the camel, the neigh of the horse, the call of the falcon, and the rhythm of the sea. He writes of love as if it were a prayer, not fleeting but eternal, not shallow but deep like wells dug by ancestors. And when he speaks of longing, it is as though the moon itself pauses, its silver light trembling upon the dunes, listening to the sincerity of his heart. There is in Fazza a dual world, one of royal duty and one of tender vulnerability. His eyes see beyond towers and cities, into the soul of those who seek him. He walks among people with humility, his smile carrying warmth that softens the hardest days. For though the world may see the crown, he carries within him a crown of verses, unseen yet shining brighter than jewels. Every word he writes is like a falcon released into the sky, majestic, untamed, returning always to his hand. Love flows in his heart like desert rain, rare, sudden. Yet when it comes, it transforms everything. He writes of a beloved whose name is hidden in silence, whose presence lingers in every poem. Sometimes she is the horizon he chases, sometimes the moon he speaks to, sometimes the dream he hides behind careful eyes. His poetry is a journey toward her, a path paved with stars and tears, with strength and vulnerability interwoven. The world reads his verses and feels the pulse of his heart, a heart that belongs not to one alone, but to everyone who has ever loved and lost, hoped and prayed.